If you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
So there's a number of, we're going to go over a number of ways or the reasons why you should save your seeds or attempt to save some of the seeds in which you're growing this year. And it's a very important practice for gardeners. We don't practice it nearly to the extent that maybe we should. And there's other
I think we do pretty well.
And there's other people that go almost 100% seed saving. They never buy seeds. They bought seeds 25 years ago, and they've saved seeds every year since, and they've never purchased a seed since then. So what is the importance, and why should we decide to at least save some seeds of the plants in which we're growing in our garden?
Well, one thing is that those plants have now become acclimated to their little ecosystem in your garden. So you want to save those seeds because you'll have better results next year, hopefully.
So what that means is you've saved, for example, let's take a tomato plant, since everybody grows tomatoes. You've saved a tomato plant seed. You've regrew it this year, or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3, and you continue to regrow that particular variety of seed. It's not that it's genetically altered, but it has changed some of the structure internally to the seed to where it becomes more adaptable to the conditions in which it's being grown in. Does that make sense there?
Right, that's what I mean. It's become acclimated to your ecosystem.
Just like somebody's been acclimated to Wisconsin temperatures versus somebody that's moved up from Florida, they're not acclimated. Over a course of a number of years, then they get more accustomed to the temperatures. It's more scientific than that, but it's a general broadness.
Are you acclimated to the temperatures?
Probably, maybe.
But
it's the general broad. That's the umbrella of the understanding of what the seeds are doing whenever you're saving them.
Basically, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So let's talk about how do we save seeds, and that really determines on what seed you're saving.
Right. So that being said, some are easier to save than others, and I think the easiest would probably be hands down beans.
Right.
Because basically you just have to let them dry.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would just take some beans off of your bean plant, and you can let them dry in the shell, in the pod, or you can let them, I would recommend letting them dry in the pod.
Or just leaving them on the actual plant until they, like a hard shell bean would, like you're waiting for it to dry that way. So beans are the easiest. Now, when you save any of these seeds, I don't care who you are or where you're from or anything, you need to label these things because you're going to forget. You've got 4 varieties of this. Oh, I'll remember. No, you're not.
No.
You're going to be planting mystery seeds for the next 5 years because you don't know what you got.
We've done that.
Right.
Yeah.
With the brassicas, we saved kale and some other stuff.
We had
we had a spill in the
Is that what it
seed
was?
box too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had kohlrabi and broccoli and all that stuff, and they all look the same, so you don't know what you got. So yeah, your beans, bush beans, pole beans, hard shell beans, whatever the case is, very easy to save. Allow the plant just to isolate a couple of plants and let them go to full maturity, and the plant will die off. The pods will dry on the bean, and then you can remove them. They're going to get very large. They're going to be inedible, and that's when.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's when you know that you're ready to go on that.
So beans. You said that lettuce is easy to save, so I'm going to let you explain that.
Okay,
process.
Lettuce in the spring and in the fall. Predominantly in the spring, when you grow leaf lettuce, it will grow until the days get to a certain day length, and then the plant will begin to rapidly grow vertically and put a center stalk on to create what is called a seed pod. It's called bolting. So at that point, the lettuce becomes very bitter, at least the central vein of it. So many people will trash it or just let it be, but if you remove the leaves and cut the central vein out, it's still edible. You allow the plant to go to seed, and then you can capture those seeds, and then you can have tens and thousands of lettuce seeds. And if you do not capture those seeds and you allow it to go to seed, it will disperse the seeds on the ground, and you'll have a cluster of lettuce plants that will be coming up either late fall here or early spring next year, and that's called volunteering or self-seeding themselves. So we've got, you can take 4 plants and save the seeds on, you'll have enough lettuce seeds for the next 10 years, no question asked. And this is leaf lettuce. This is not head lettuce. This is leaf lettuce, and there's a variety of different reds and greens and purple leaf lettuces in which you can grow.
Right, definitely. So that's a good way to save those lettuce seeds, and that's a way to get a lot of lettuce seeds. So maybe you can always give them to friends and family. I would say that tomatoes are easy to save. There's just a little bit of a process
If
there.
you know the technique.
Right. So
Okay.
tomatoes, as you know, if you've ever cut open a tomato, they have that gelatinous slime around the seeds. And
That is, nature's designed that, so when the tomato falls on the ground in the fall, that gel stays there until it dissolves in early spring to where the seed is allowed to grow again.
yeah, and you can do that. You could take a slice of tomato, you could put it in the ground or in a pot or something, and then just leave it. And in the fall or in the spring, it will grow tomatoes. That's something that you do see on Pinterest. That's not a lie.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to take those seeds and you put them in a glass of water or jar or whatever you have.
At what point do we wait for the fruit before we harvest it?
I don't know what you're asking.
Until it fully ripes.
Right.
So it's almost rotting on the plant.
Right, yeah, fully ripe, of course. Anyway, so you want to take your seeds, put them in a glass of water, or if you have an old jar or whatever of water, and then you just leave it for a few days. It's going to kind of do this. You can cover it loosely with a coffee filter or something that is kind of porous. And then
Because you're going to have gnats.
oh yeah, you'll have gnats. And then once it kind of does this fermentation type thing, and then you just rinse the seeds off, or you just dump them out into like a sieve.
Make sure
and
your
then-
sieve is small enough that the seeds don't fall through.
Right, like
Yeah,
don't
that's-
use your pasta.
Right,
your
right.
pasta,
I mean, it goes without saying, but we've all done this. Oh, and then all the seeds fall through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you make sure it's a good sieve, and then rinse them off, and then you can put them on a plate, like a ceramic plate.
Not a paper plate.
Not a paper plate, because we've done that too, and all of a sudden your seeds are all stuck to the paper plate. So ceramic plate or dish or whatever, what have you. And then you label them while they dry, so you're not like, oh, I remember what this is next week, not. And then when they're nice and dry, then you can package them in like a zip top bag or whatever,
Even an
envelope, whatever you have, and then you're good to go.
Now, the ideal location to store your seeds are in the crisper of your fridge. Now, we do not choose to go that route. We just keep them in like a Tupperware-made container and keep them in a cool place. Now, our seeds are probably not as viable as some people's seeds are because they stay in the car a lot, because when we travel to the gardens, I want to have the seeds ready to go in case I want to plant something, so I don't take them in and put them in the fridge every night, that type of thing. So if you can keep them cool, the longevity and the viability of that seed will be greater for a longer period of time.
Our seeds are traveling seeds.
Traveling seeds, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some more, moderately easy ones to save, and then briefly ones that we would not recommend you trying to save. Just get new from Mi Gardener next year.
Sure. So leeks and onions, but leeks and onions are a biannual, so you have to wait till that second year.
So they're growing right now. You let them be. Don't touch them. And by June next year, they will have an incredible seed pod on them with thousands of seeds. And then you can save those seeds.
And it looks pretty too. It looks like this like pom-pom flower.
And again, label them because they're both of the same family and their seeds are identical until you begin to grow them and see what develops in what form of the plant, bulb or stalk, leek versus onion. Difficult ones to save.
Okay, so cucumber. I don't know why you said it was
Cucumbers are very self.
Oh, because
sensitive.
they pollinate,
right.
yeah.
So if you have
they
two
can get
plants cross-pollinated very easily.
So it's not that it's hard to save the cucumber seed. You just might have a mystery cucumber.
If you have only one variety, it's okay. Leave it on till the plant turns yellow or the fruit turns yellow and gets very soft and mushy. Then you can save the seeds. If you have multiple varieties, they're going to most likely be cross-pollinated, and you're going to get some more variety. So it's just best to save the seed. Best to buy new seeds if you're growing multiple varieties.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Eggplant.
It's difficult because the seeds are inside.
the seeds are inside.
the fruit itself.
So I wonder if you could just let that dry a little bit. I guess it would rot.
You would
before it
have to
dry.
wait to make sure your seeds are completely mature. Parsnips and carrots are similar to leeks in which they are biannuals. You have to wait to the second year.
We save those parsnip seeds.
We
once.
save parsnip seeds. The sensitivity with onions, leeks, parsnips are, when you get new seeds, they have a very, very short shelf life, maybe 2 years at best. You can maybe get 3 or 4, but it's safely to get a really good germination rate. 1 year is the germination.
Do we
time
have
frame.
a minute to talk about radish
We
seed pods?
can talk about radish seeds,
because
yes.
those are kind of cool. So what happens is kind of like the leeks, or not the leeks, the lettuce,
Mm-hmm.
where it it can
Bolts.
it bolts. Thank you. The radishes do that too, but they put on these seed pods that look kind of like teardrop shaped green beans, almost, or smaller than that. And you can eat those. Those are edible. But if you let them develop a little bit more, then they turn into seeds. Well, they don't turn into seeds, but they have seeds inside.
You break them open, and they almost have a styrofoam-like consistency. You break them open, and there's 4 to 6 to 8 seeds inside that pod. But again, if you still have radishes that are bolting or growing in the garden that have that seed flower pod on, yeah, those are edible. And they taste exactly like the root, less heat intense than the actual bulb in which the plant.
Yeah, they have a little spice to them, but not like not too bad.
Right, and you can go radishes right now. Put them in the ground 30 days. You're going to have more radishes before winter comes.
And I think it's kind of cool how they produce like that.
Yeah, and so when we come back, that's just seed saving 101. We want you to save some seeds, save some money, carry on the traits in which the plants that you like growing to regrow in your garden for year after year. Thank you for checking out the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. For more, go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com for full-length in-studio video and podcast replay of Season 1. Season 2 underway and added weekly. Tweet us at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG to be part of the program.